me like a snake.
तो एक के चलती हजारों आदमी भूखे मर जाते हैं।
मैं तो सोचता था कि मैं कहीं मम्मी को मैं बहुत बोलता था, मम्मी मुझे एक कुछ अच्छा पॉइजन दे दो कि मैं मर जाऊं।
Oh my God, they've been blasting the wrecks.
A brand new season of Undercover Asia.
As I live my life, I am increasingly surprised by my strength, my determination, by the power of my beliefs. I find reward in the honesty of my endeavors, proud of what I have achieved, and convinced there is much more I can do.
This is Singapore Tonight.
Good evening, I'm Dawn Tan. Tonight's top stories. Several hospitals take extra precautions against COVID-19. This follows recent detection of cases amongst staff and in nearby premises. Food delivery riders size up the risk they face as they count COVID-19 infections among their ranks. Mass online meditation and other scaled-down celebrations to mark Vesak Day. It's all part of heightened safe management measures. Several hospitals here in Singapore are taking extra precautions against COVID-19, and this follows recent detection of infections amongst staff as well as in nearby premises. A housekeeper who works at Sengkang General Hospital tested positive on Monday. The hospital has disinfected all the areas that he was in. It is also conducting contact tracing and surveillance swab tests. It says the 27-year-old did not interact with any COVID-19 patients and developed symptoms a day after he was last at work. Ng Teng Fong General Hospital and Jurong Community Hospital will now conduct a second COVID-19 swab for all its staff and vendors. And this is after a number of cases were uncovered in nearby malls like Gem and Westgate. There will also be routine testing for patient-fronting staff. One expert says testing is an effective layer of defence. He says other precautions are also important.
We have to do what everyone else does, except better. Just make sure it's completely strict. Talking about mask wearing, for instance, especially around colleagues, not just at the patient's bedside. Most of the admin staff are working from home. All our dining facilities, the commonly shared dining facilities, they're all closed. But actually, the best thing to keep the hospitals free of COVID is to get the community numbers down, and then that lowers that risk of unidentified patients coming in with COVID.
Food delivery riders are taking extra precautions on top of those set down by their employers. And this comes after 8 COVID-19 infections among their colleagues in less than a week. They say that the nature of the job leaves them worried about being exposed to the virus, even as they cope with more stringent safe distancing measures. Gwyneth Teo with more.
When community cases started to surge and put Singapore on the path to heightened alert, one delivery rider decided it wasn't worth the risk.
Before the HA came out, right, the malls are so packed, sometimes, we just, I do not know how many times I go into the mall, like in a 8 or 10-hour shift. At the start of the pandemic, I think I was down with a fever. I do not want to undergo such a situation again, because to be honest, it was quite scary. It wasn't nice. I was admitted. Luckily, it turned out that it was not positive. We do not know who the person is, where he stays, until we pick up the order. And sometimes we also deliver to places like dormitories.
Mr. Su is now learning to edit videos and receives an allowance from the government while picking up a new skill. But not all can afford to give up the work. And so they soldier on.
We have to gather to collect our orders, so it's a bit risky for us. But like as I said, it's a win-win situation. We don't know who's been infected and who's not. So we just hope for the best.
Major food delivery platforms have made contactless collection the default option or even mandatory. McDonald's and KFC leave packed food on segregated tables for riders. Deliveroo and Grab have reminded riders to space themselves out while they wait to collect food. Mr. Shamsun makes sure to sanitize his hands after every delivery.
Yes, it's a plastic bag, food, but we doesn't know. So just play safe.
Safety is not the only problem they face. Even finding a place to rest and eat amid the tighter restrictions is an issue. The labour movement has been working with community partners to address that. So far, it has identified 50 such places for the riders to do so.
We're looking at malls, with carved out areas. We're looking at food courts with carved out areas as well. And we're also looking at some other community areas such as void decks, as well as open areas within the CCs that our drivers and riders, would be able to have their meals in peace. Before all these were set up, our drivers and riders, were actually having, no choice but to eat in toilets, for instance. That's very sad. Yeah, they were having to eat in car parks.
She adds that such efforts help lower the mental stress these delivery riders face in their job.
Authorities are taking action against 25 massage parlors for not ensuring that masks are worn during sessions with customers. And this comes amid a resurgence of cases, many of them unlinked in the community. 23 customers will also be taken to task. Fines range from 300 Singapore dollars for individuals to up to $2,000 for operators. Police carried out checks at some 850 massage parlors island-wide over the past 2 weeks. It says it will continue with inspections and take firm action if necessary. Operators and individuals who breach COVID-19 safety measures for the first time face a maximum $10,000 fine and half a year's jail. The punishments may be doubled for businesses if they break the rules again. Singapore has reported 3 unlinked infections among 24 new locally transmitted COVID-19 cases. 23 of them are in the community and 1 lives in a dormitory. 21 patients are linked to previous cases. 14 of them had already been quarantined and 7 were detected through surveillance. There are also 2 imported cases, both placed on stay-home notice on arrival. In all, there are 26 new cases, taking the national tally now to 61,916. The chief of the Monetary Authority of Singapore warns that large and volatile capital flows are here to stay. That's happening as investors chase higher returns outside of advanced economies facing aging populations and slower productivity growth. Now, this can cause exchange rate fluctuations, trigger financial stresses, or even worsen weaknesses in emerging market economies like Singapore's. Now, speaking at a virtual forum of central bankers, MAS Managing Director Ravi Menon says strong capital inflows could also risk fueling domestic credit and asset bubbles. This would pose risks to financial stability in EMEs. To mitigate that, he says it's necessary to use a range of tools. These include foreign exchange interventions and measures aimed at ensuring stability of the financial system.
It must be recognized that monetary policy latitude in EMEs is to some extent compromised by large capital flows. An integrated policy framework could perhaps shed light on the circumstances under which monetary policy could also serve financial stability objectives, and whether there are benefits to jointly calibrating monetary policy and macroprudential policy, as well as how this calibration should be done.
Still to come, efforts underway to save a Singapore-flagged ship and its cargo off the coast of Colombo. Powerful Cyclone Yaz pummels India's eastern coast, killing at least 2 and displacing tens of thousands.
Love city living? Singapore Property Show presents stunning developments in the core central region, the ultimate in luxurious living with